Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at Moonbeam. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. This one we don't have a lot of price history. We only have price history from January 2022. So we need to just be aware that because we don't have a lot to go off of here, we are just tracking this move to the downside. So the main way that I'm looking at the structure is that potentially here within this, we could have this as a bigger 5-wave move. But this is actually wave 1, 2, 3, looking for this as a 4th, and then looking at this potentially as a completed 5th wave move. Now, the problem that I have within this current count here is that ideally I would have liked to have seen this move down a little bit lower here to this 0.382, which is sitting at this 0.850 level. Now, because we haven't hit this target, we have actually hit the 0.382 of the wave 1, and we've reacted quite nicely off this level. So the key thing here for me is, if we are going to see this continue to the upside here in a bigger way, we need to see a break of this previous wave 4 here at this 0.5678. And ideally what I would want to see here is also a break primarily of this 30-cent region. Until we take this high here, we need to be very careful that there could potentially still be some extension in here, where this move could become another 1, 2, and then we start to extend to the downside like this. So this is why this high is going to be very important here. But like I said, we have hit this zone and we did react extremely well to it. So what I want to see here is, if we're looking at this as a bearish case here, where we're saying this is a 5-wave move, we could still potentially be setting up for a bigger 3-wave structure, which could look to push us anywhere between the 786 and the 0.382 region. Now, the most common area here is between this 50% and the 786, but still going to be keeping an eye on this lower 0.382 as a possible zone for a rejection from this B wave. If we did have to see a bigger move up here, some areas of interest would be this golden pocket, as it would align with this wave 2 high. So I would be keeping an eye on this if we do see a higher push to the upside here. Alternatively, if we do see this reject lower down here, we'd still be looking for this 1-to-1. So this 1-to-1 off this 0.618 up here would actually be down here towards this 0.182. So if we do see a rally here that just actually happens in 3 waves, we need to be very careful of this idea of a bigger push to the downside afterwards. Now, within this 5th wave idea, it is still possible that we could still be looking to push down one more time. And what I'd be looking for here then, would be something potentially like a diagonal starting. So if we do just see this move complete as 5 waves down and we see just 3-wave structure to the upside here, what we could then still see is another push to the downside. Now, the zone that I'm looking at currently, which is quite interesting, is between this 50% level and this 0.618. So that would be this 35.19 to this 30 cent 28. If we do look to push up here one more time in a 3-wave structure, this could align with the idea of this B wave and then the continuation down. The only way we're going to invalidate this is by moving back above the high here at this 57.20. If we do look to actually face rejection in this white box area, this could be quite bearish and could align with a continuation down. If we do get 3 waves down here, what I would then be looking for is the potential that we get 3 waves up, another 3 waves down, another 3 waves up, and another 3 waves down. Looking for something like a diagonal pattern here, forming a contracting wedge shaped pattern to the downside. So that would be if we are incomplete. So really, we need to get back above the 786 before we get too excited about this move to the upside here, because it is possible that we could still see a move to the downside. Now, within this idea of being within a B wave, what I am looking out for here is the possibility that this could be moving up in a corrective manner. So we're going to come into the lower time frame, and what I'm looking for here is that potentially we could look at this move as an A wave up, triangle as a B wave, and we could be looking for this as a C wave to the upside. Now, that 1-to-1 target based off of this low here of this 2265 would actually be 37.58. So if we do continue to hold this low here, we could potentially start to form a bigger 5-wave move here, where what we would then be looking for, like I said, is a confirmation by a push up towards this 33.74. If we do see just price move up in 3 waves here, where we get a push up to this 1-to-1, the idea of a diagonal could potentially come into play, where this would then be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, where we form a wedge shaped pattern to the upside. Otherwise, what I'd be looking for here is, like I said, this 1618. Now, this would be valid for as long as we hold this 2265. If we start to lose that level, then we'd have to reevaluate the count here because it would stop making sense at that point, and then it would also be possible that we could have a completed move into this high. So we're going to go over that in a second. But if we do continue to hold this low, we could still see this extension to the upside here, where this move becomes a 5-wave structure, looking to push up towards this 36.55 to this 34.78, if we can confirm this by pushing past this 33.74. So all eyes are going to be on this low here within this idea. Now, if we are looking at this move as a bullish pattern in a slightly different way here, where what we would be saying is that this low is actually the low of that 5th wave, and we're looking for a bigger rally to the upside, what we could see is that this could be 1, 2, 1, 2. This move to the upside into this high here is our wave 3, and then effectively what we would be looking for is that this would be 4 and 5 into this high. Now with this idea, what this would then mean is that we potentially have a triangle in the 4th wave here, where this is A, B, C, D, and E, and if this is the case, then effectively what we'd be looking for here is the potential that this is our 5th wave completed. We've come up into this target area of this 29.72 to this 27.69. Now it is always possible that we could still get extension within this, and possibly what we could have is that either we have something like this where I've got this counted slightly wrong and we complete here, and then we have this as a wave 2, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we continue to push up directly. But to me, this is looking very much like a triangle here, so I'm just being very cautious about the more bullish case here. But if we do continue to hold this low, same with this idea of this corrective push-up, we could still look to see a rally in this blue count here. So if we do hold that low, I'm going to still be looking out for that. However, if we have completed this 5th wave into this high, what we could then get is that this move could be either a wave 1 or a wave 8 to the upside. Now, if this is a wave 1, what we'd be looking for then would be a wave 2. Now, the most common wave 2 would be a zigzag, and these tend to be quite deep. But I have also marked up this level of this 0.382 here at this 2260. So the reason I've done this is a couple of reasons. So this would align with the 4th wave if we do see a retracement into this zone, and it would also align with obviously the 0.382. Lower down here we have the 50%, which doesn't have a whole lot going on in that zone. Alternatively, into the 618 area at this 1982, this would be the next area that would be of interest to me, where we could potentially see a reaction, and then we would potentially also be looking lower down here if we do get a deeper retracement to this 1805. So the idea here would be that if this 5th wave is now completed into this high, we could be starting this bigger 3-wave move to the downside, looking to test the support box. If we move below this 1607, this invalidates this move, and then we would have to just count this as a corrective move up as it is. But at the moment, what I'm looking for is either this is going to be A, B, and C, or alternatively, this becomes 1, 2, and then we're looking for a bigger 3rd wave. Now, if we get a bigger 3rd wave here, 4906, based off of coming into that 0.618, would be our impulsive target. If we do see 3 waves back to the downside and we see this 1-to-1 level, this 34.72 get hit, then potentially what we could see is another 5-wave structure looking to push us up towards the 60.73 to this 53.21. So this would be our bullish case, where we're looking at this as a 5-wave move. We also have to be careful of the idea that this could be A, B, and C, and we just see a move up towards this 34.72. So it's going to be very important in the short term here. If we do continue to hold this low here of this 22.65, we can potentially still look to rally. If we do look to continue to rally here, I'm going to be looking for the potential that we could have some extension within the waves. If, however, we do see just this blue wave count push up into this 1-to-1 level of this 37.58, we could then see a rejection in this zone, and this would align more with the idea that this move is incomplete, like we said here on the higher time frame. We could potentially be looking for this bigger B wave, where we could see a push towards the 786 to this 50% level, and then see a rejection to the downside. So this is going to be key rejection areas here. We've got our key support areas. We just need to let the waves develop here and see whether we continue to hold those supports, whether we break down. If we break down in 3 waves, then we could potentially still look to rally. If we start to break down in 5-wave structure, then we could already be within the C wave, looking for this 0784 as a potential target. Coming in here and having a look at the daily CPR lines, what we can see is that these daily CPR lines are very tightly spread. So these are indicating volatility, we can see that on reset here, we dived below these and then saw this rally to the upside where we hit this R1 line. We have then come back down into these lines, so these could potentially offer us support here at this 23.88 if we do see another push to the downside. If, however, we do continue to hold this low, I'm going to be looking out for that potential. We could see a rally back up towards this 27.68. If we do manage to move past that, 29.50 and this 31.52 are targets for today. If, however, we start to break down, we lose these central lines, potentially we could see a retest of 21.92, 20 cents, 18.14, and this lower level here of the 16.31. So we need to be careful of this. If we do look to break down, we could potentially look to target out some of those areas today. Now, moving over here and having a look at the weekly CPR lines, what we can see is that we have actually met all these targets already. So if we do see price come back down into the zone this week, 1958, 1867, 1773, and these lows here of the 1699 to the 1676 could be potential support zones if we do look to move down. Losing these levels would then open up the potential of testing this 1590, 1500, and this 1401. Now, if we come over here and have a look at the monthly pivot points, what we can see is that we've actually come up here and we've pretty much hit all of these targets. Now, with this idea here, you know, if we do continue to hold this level and push up, I'm going to be watching this zone of this 2220, but within our account of actually seeing this push up in a bigger way, it would look to surpass all these lines once again, but we can still find interactions with these at 26.28 and 28.27 if we do look to push up. If, however, we look to push down, we could potentially look to find support here at this 22.70, which would be on this R1 line. Other areas of support would be 21.55 to this 1981, which would align with that idea that if this move is actually completed to the upside here, we could start to see a three-wave move down, but we also don't have a lot of time left this month, so we will get new CPR lines at the end of the month. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it is free to join. Everyone have a great day. We will see you in the next one. Take care.